Welcome back to the channel Spain Unlocked. My name is Anna, and today we'll be talking about something that is one of the most important things that you first think of when you plan on relocating to Spain. And it is, where will you live when you'll come to our sunny country? There are various ways of either purchasing a property or renting it out long term. And in today's video, we'll be talking about long term property rental, everything that you should know, the requirements to rent, what are the prices right now in different regions, and much more. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about requirements right now in 2025, because those of you who've relocated already some while ago probably did not have this type of experience. And if you know someone who lives here, they might say, well, I didn't have to do that when I came to Spain, but now sadly you will have to. Situation has changed after pandemics, drastically after the economic crisis that we've had, the inflation. A lot of people lost their jobs, and as a result, many people stopped paying their rent and they've converted themselves into inqui ocupas. This is the term that we use a lot in Spain, which means that you are illegally in the property, but you had previously a rental contract. It's just that you're not paying for the monthly rent for it. So you're illegally occupying the property. And this happened a lot all over Spain. And after this, people have seen that it is very, very difficult to get people outside of their property, even if they're not paying the rent. Police cannot do anything, and the best scenario that you can face with as a property owner is to go to the judge and wait 1 2 years, maybe even more, depending on the area you live in, if it's a bigger city, if not. And you need to wait up until the judge will say that they need to be evicted. And even then, it's no guarantee whatsoever. So people, property owners, are afraid of this situation, which is why nowadays a lot of property owners are asking for a rental insurance. What is it? The rental insurance. It is an insurance that the property owner has. It's not something that you can provide as a future tenant. Property owner has various companies he might check it with, or the agent, the real estate agent of the property owner, might check it for him, and they're the ones who are getting this insurance to be covered in case tenants will not pay the rent. And the main problem is that this insurance asks a lot of really sometimes difficult to get paperwork. What is needed right now in terms of requirements? First of all, almost all property owners ask these things. Number one, you have to have your passport, your NIE number, or your residence card. If you still do not have your residence permit or NIE number, it is very difficult, but not impossible, that the insurance company will approve this rental agreement, which means that in a lot of cases, automatically property owners or real estate agents will tell you, no, we're not able to do it, even though you have income or savings. But since you do not have a Spanish NIE number or residency here, we are not able to do so and move forward with the operation. As a result, around 50% of properties automatically will not be available for you. Some of the property owners will, however, accept just with the passport. So you will need, in theory, passport, your NIE number, your residence permit here in Spain. Then you will need a Spanish bank account that you could potentially get once you arrive here, if you cannot get it beforehand or if you've not had it already. The Spanish bank account serves to actually register there the fees for electricity bills, water, and gas, if there is any gas inside of the property. And these are bills that will be passed periodically through your bank account. Usually, electricity bill comes every single month, water bill comes every 3 months, and gas bill comes every 2 months to your bank account. And you'll receive also the invoice. Apart from the passport, NIE, the bank account number, obviously what they will look at is your income. If beforehand it was more than enough to tell, yes, I have a fixed contract, yes, I'm earning this and this and that, sometimes people did not even bother to check your documents, but now it's not the case any longer. Officially, the rental price cannot be more than 30% of value of all your combined household income, which means that if it's more, automatically you will not be approved. this is something to consider in today's world, especially knowing that Spain doesn't have high salaries. And a lot of people who have only one income in the household automatically will not be able to rent any kind of property at all in our region. What can these documents be? Well, first of all, even if you have income from abroad, it might be valid not for all property owners and not for all real estate companies and not for all insurance companies either. But how can you justify your income? First of all, it's your monthly salary, your pay slip. If you are a retired person, a pensioner who receives some kind of a pension, retirement amount monthly on a monthly basis, it might be a social security letter. It might be some other type of certificate depending on which country you're coming from. For example, in US, it's social security certificate or your private savings like pension savings. It might be savings account. It might be just a checking account with some savings on it. Different types of options, stocks, for example. Everything to show that you would be able to pay for the monthly rental during some time while you are starting your life here in Spain. If it is a European Union country, it is way easier because it is possible to check it out. And a lot of people know already what the documents look like. But if it's coming from a Latin American country, like South American country, if it's coming from US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, or other countries that are not part of European Union and that don't have euro as the main currency, it might be slightly difficult, which is why it is very, very important to have a person of contact that will bring to your attention everything that you need to know and that will help you out to find a property through the real estate agencies that they know, for example, or property owners that they know, which is what we do in our migration consulting company. We have been working for several years already in our region and in a lot of other parts in Spain, not only Valencian community. And by now, we know many real estate companies, we know many owners that have several properties, and they trust in us. They know that our clients will pay for the rent, and it is slightly easier to get a property in this case because we will make sure that all the necessary paperwork will be there for them to check. Whether it's in US dollars, whether it's in Canadian ones, whether it's in British pounds, doesn't really matter. But what you need to have is the document, either scanned one in PDF or original document, from bank statements, salaries, pay slips, work contract, or a pension, or funds, savings account, whatever you can show. Or, for example, a selling deal from your property. If you've sold a property back in your country, you will need this selling contract, sell purchase contract with all the information and your bank account statement where you've received the money. This will also be sufficient for many owners to be able to actually grant you and accept your profile as future tenants for their property that they are renting out long term. And apart from that, there is no more specific documents that you would need in this case if you do not have a Spanish salary or a Spanish pension. Many property owners or real estate agents will try and pass it through the insurance. If it's not the case, there might be another option, which is paying 1 year in advance, which is not as popular, but it exists in many real estate companies still. The thing is that property owners need to have the guarantee that you will be able to pay for the rent. They're afraid of the illegal occupation of their property, and it is a very sad, it is a very big issue here in Spain, which is why also there is not so many rentals right now, which is why the prices are also higher because there is high demand but little supply in our country. And many property owners decide either sell their property directly or rent it short term as a touristic rental because they're afraid of what might be happening if they're not secured with an insurance. There is no way to pay less than that. It is either be accepted and pay a monthly rental fee or pay a year in advance. There is nothing in between. A lot of people do ask us, what if I can pay 6 months in advance, 4 months in advance? Usually it is not the case. There's either monthly or a year. Sometimes owners might ask an extra deposit, for example, but it is usually not the case. It's either one or the exact opposite one. How much money do you need to have in order to rent out a property here in Spain? First of all, every region is different, but nowadays the typical minimum amount of money that you will need months of rent are either 2 months of deposit that the property owner will retain in his bank account or deposited in the tax agency here in Spain, and this money is like a deposit for whenever you will leave the property. If there are some big issues, if things have been taken away, if it's not clean, etc., if there's any holes in the walls, for example, missing doors, something big, then it's taken from the deposit. If everything is fine and in good condition as when you took it, whenever you started renting the property, the deposit is usually given back to the tenants. Apart from 2 months deposit, there is 1 month of a current rent. And if you, for example, are entering on the 15th of this month, which is also a possibility, not on first, for example, of every month, then they might charge you 15 days of this month. And then starting from next month, it's going to be 1 month's worth. Every first of the month, they will charge you the rental price. And this is how it usually works. So it's either 2 months of a deposit and 1 month's rent, or there is another possibility, which is 1 month of a deposit plus 1 month's rent. The commissions of agents, a very, very big topic nowadays still. There has been a change that many property owners are trying to avoid still, and are not paying how they should be towards their personal real estate agents, because usually the property owner is the one who has to cover the commission of the real estate agent, the one that has published this property and the one that is renting it out on behalf of the property owner. But in theory, only the best companies do so, only the ones that are worried for their reputation, the ones who do things right, they will not charge you the commission whenever you rent out their property. But some companies still do so. Just because we are interested and we go with our clients, some companies might try and charge the commission. But it's less of the case each time, because they're afraid that the person will pay it and then go to the consumers organization and say, hey, they've charged me this, but it is illegal. At the end, the company will have to give that this money. So they know that it is not right thing to do. And less companies put this in practice nowadays. So these are more or less the two basic options that you will have. So it's either 3 months or 2 months that you will need to pay to sign the contract and pick up the keys. Obviously, every single month you will need to pay the utility bills, or every 2-3 months, depending on which one it is. The rent is every single month. And a lot of contracts right now, the new ones, do stipulate that every single year there might be a price increase according to the inflation in the country, or using a specific index. These price increases might be different if it's a tension area in Spain, which means that rentals are way, way more than they should be, and there's not a lot of properties available. These are a lot of parts of Spain, mostly coastal areas, touristic ones, especially our region too: Benidorm, Alicante, Alfaz, Altea, Valencia, some areas of Barcelona, Catalonia, different parts of Madrid as well. And in these parts, there's a specific index on which it's the maximum amount that you could increase the rent for the new year when renovating the contract. And a lot of times it's around 2-3%, not more. So that's basically around 10-30 euros of the increase for the next year. But that is the case. These contracts do stipulate that you're able to increase the rent slowly every single year. Before, it wasn't the case here in Spain. And here on the screen, you're able to see different prices for different regions in our country. This map shows the average income of 1,300 euros, and that in the vast majority of places, especially coastal ones, it will take up to 50% and more of the income to pay for the rent. And if before you could get a bungalow in our area for 550 euros, we're talking like 10 years ago, right now this same bungalow will cost you around 1,300 euros. And even more. Houses before, you were able to rent them, independent houses, for less than 1,000. Nowadays, it's from 2,200 euros onwards. Three-bedroom apartments, more than 1,000 euros. And like this, it goes in the most touristic areas, the ones that are closer to the sea, in bigger municipalities, in bigger cities, or in touristic villages. Everything that is on the interior, in the part of the mountains, is way cheaper, but there is not as much of properties available out there because this is a smaller village. It is a smaller region, thus people rent out in between of them, and it's very, very hard to get a property out there, but it is not impossible. Thank you for accompanying us in today's video about long-term rent in Spain. You were able to see what are the requirements for the rentals, which kind of documents will you need, if it will be a price rise every single year, and how it works with the private insurances in this case that a property owner will get to protect its home. Thank you for accompanying us, and stay tuned, stay subscribed if you're still not, and comment down below which kind of videos you would like to see next here on the channel. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.